Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Three Guys Walking to Culinary School. Back for another episode. Tim, Brian, what's going on?
Not much, man. What's
Hey,
happening?
You know, the usual, same old, enjoying life, feeling good. Excited about our new segment that we're about to introduce right now. Um, it's called Food Court, okay? And now for you at home, we're not talking about, Panda Express and Subway and, maybe one good burger spot. We're talking about dun, 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 dun.
That's pretty good.
Food court. Was it?
I
Was
like
it?
that.
I thought I
That was
lost
a
it
good one.
halfway through. I hope we don't have to pay for fucking rights to that. But we've kind of discussed this, and we kind of feel like we're gonna be. What do you guys think? Judge
Jury,
and let's kill it.
executioner, baby.
Executioners. That's it. We are here to settle your debates, your arguments, your little just things that bother you about like certain food topics, obviously. And I think it's gonna be fun. We're gonna do this, and we want you guys to share your stories. But we'll do an episode first or a segment first, and then you guys see how it is, and we want you guys to interact with us, everyone home listening. We were talking about grocery shopping recently. I think the last episode we were talking about apples and what we were buying, and sometimes it's cheaper just to go grocery shopping. And I always think, like, with ingredients, like, is there something that you guys, when it comes to cooking or making a grocery list and shopping for something you're going to cook, is there an ingredient that you always splurge on? Is there something that you can't say I can't go without regardless of the price?
Oh,
Like, is there
absolutely,
something?
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So I had an experience this past week.
Oh, okay.
My wife did the food shopping,
Mm-hmm.
and she came home with Weiss brand ketchup,
Oh no.
which to me is
Oh
just
no.
a complete sin.
Yeah.
Never heard of it, Tim.
Weiss is a grocery
It's
store
a
chain
supermarket chain.
here
Yeah.
in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Here, I think they're in Pennsylvania as well.
Yeah. They're part of a bigger conglomerate. But
And
yeah.
to me, when it comes to ketchup, there's only one ketchup.
Yeah, catsup, right? CATSUP, catsup.
You know,
My school used to have that, and I was just like, "What is this?
What
it's
is ketchup?
What is
it's Heinz,
catsup?"
baby.
Yeah, that's Heinz.
Heinz is the
Absolutely.
only
Gotta be
ketchup
Heinz.
that
Yeah.
should be in the fridge, on the table. I work 5 days a week, 45 hours a week. Heinz ketchup.
I demand Heinz in my fridge. No, that's great. That is the only acceptable. Regardless of the price. I know the Weiss brands could be cheaper. Yeah, no, Heinz ketchup. There's no other option, right?
There's
Yeah.
no other ketchup.
There's no other, and even like they have like sugar-free options or low sugar options and all that. Just regular old Heinz ketchup. Well,
Heinz 57.
Yeah, you get that glass bottle too. It's an antique.
Ooh, I do like the glass bottle. What is it? You tap it on the number
Right,
3?
right on the number, on the 57 on there, right?
57.
Right on the 57 there. Do you guys remember? Didn't they? And I don't know if this is something I'm making up, but didn't they do like a wide mouth bottle, like a wide cap? It was almost like a Snapple, maybe a bigger cap, where you can like dip a knife in there and like scoop it. Am I making that up?
I don't remember that one.
I got to write this down because I need to look that up here. Heinz.
I don't remember that.
It was like
And
short and stubby, the bottle, but it
I
had
know
a
what you're
wider
talking
mouth.
about, and I haven't seen those in years. There were short, stubby bottles that you would get in like
Don't tell me bougie hotels.
like a
Oh, man, I'm the worst.
kind of like a fancy room service kind of thing.
Yeah, those
And
club
you get
sandwiches.
this little glass bottle, and it did have like a wider.
Okay,
So
that's
that
what
could
I'm
be what
thinking of.
you're thinking of.
Wait,
No,
so I'm a little. I have a question about your story, Tim. So, is the problem with the store brand in particular, or is it that it's just not Heinz? Because there's other brands that aren't Heinz that you can get that aren't the store brand.
Yeah.
So like
you have
Hunt's. Hunt's
Yeah.
is another one.
Yeah, but it's not Heinz. I guess maybe it's got to be Heinz.
So it's got to be Heinz.
It's the one and only ketchup.
That's a great question. Brian. Yeah, no, I'm with Tim. It's got to be Heinz, regardless of the brand. Like, my favorite, I don't know, pasta sauce maker can come out with a ketchup, and it still has to be Heinz or something, That's a good
Okay.
question, though. Are you hating on generic brands or store brands? Do you shop at Trader Joe's where it's all, like 90%
Oh yeah, no,
private label?
I'm
Are you a
not
private
knocking.
label hater?
I'm not knocking the store
Yeah.
brand.
You're just putting Heinz on
I'm just
Yeah.
another
saying
level. Yeah.
there's two
Yeah,
things
yeah,
when
yeah,
it
yeah,
comes
yeah.
to ketchup and mayo.
Hmm.
There's certain brands that I expect to be in the fridge.
So you're a Hellman's guy too? Is that
Yes,
what I'm okay?
Hellman's,
Hellman's.
or
Fine.
if I'm lucky enough to get my hands on some Duke's. Duke's
Dukes.
mayo is completely acceptable as
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Acceptable. It's not
What
even
about
like,
Miracle Whip?
oh,
Where do you stand?
is that mayo?
I
Is
don't
that like,
think that is mayo.
yeah, right? Isn't it like a different, like a
I thought I was
tangier,
frozen
different?
for a second.
Yeah, no, he got
Tim's
offended.
face was like, "Are you
Yeah.
serious?"
He got offended by that question. He's like, we're talking about mayo, right? No, Miracle Whip is another animal, right? It's a whole
Yeah,
other
that's a whole
breed.
different beast.
That's so
It's
funny, man.
salad dressing, right? That's what they call it.
Oh
Yeah.
shit, really?
It's
That's
weird.
funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. So are there generic then brands that you like? Like, is there something specific that you would always go for over the brand name then? In reverse. So,
Hmm.
Heinz ketchup's always Heinz.
Huh.
Is there like something that you'll, instead of Fruit Loops, will you get like, Fruit Circles, like the generic,
Fruitios?
The
yeah, Fruitios or
Fritos.
whatever it is. Yeah, exactly. Whatever the generic version of that is. Because I find like, for the most part, like cereals and like
So
stuff, yeah, I feel like some store brand pastas are just as good. Like, I
there,
mean, yeah.
there's one thing that
Mhm.
I love store brand version of, and I don't really ever buy it because if it's in the cabinet, I'm gonna eat all of it quickly. But I did recently buy a package. It's the store brand sandwich cookie. Like,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
the pack it has like the vanilla on one side and the chocolate on the other.
I've seen
They're
those. Yeah, yeah,
they're
yeah.
like the fake, kind of like fake Oreos.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know what they use in those. I probably don't want to know, but there's something about it. Delicious.
They gotta
Absolutely delicious.
they gotta put it in their generic ketchup is what they got to do apparently, because their ketchup's not hitting. So is it store brand? So is it like a Weiss brand cookie or is it just a
Yeah,
generic
it could
Oreo?
be any grocery store
Oh,
because
any store brand
they all
sandwich
have
cookie.
them. And
Yeah.
That's
it's
so
just
funny.
these cheap ass sandwich cookies,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and
That's what you're
they're
always.
so good.
That's so funny. How about you, Brian? Anything that you like that's a specific store brand?
I can't think of anything that's a specific store brand, but I can think of a specific name brand that I need.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, actually, same brand. It's got to be when you're talking about processed American cheese, it's got to be Kraft singles,
Oh yeah.
right?
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure. For
The
sure.
store brand American cheese is always trash,
Oh,
sure.
right?
ironically enough, I have one of my kids' store brand American cheese. Any other American cheese outside of Kraft looks like this to me. We didn't even plan this. I just have some of my kids' toys here. They're like, this is literally what it looks like. It's just like this cheap, hunky plastic.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it
just
doesn't melt right. It
it
doesn't
does.
look
Yes,
right. The yellow and the orange are a little off. It's not like the right color.
yeah. It doesn't feel
Absolutely.
right. It
Yeah, it
doesn't.
doesn't. No, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't peel out of the
Yeah.
plastic, right?
Right, and then there's like yeah, absolutely. There's like
Yeah,
pieces of it on the film. Absolutely, that's a great point.
yeah.
That's definitely a brand that you trust and you want over anything. I think trying to think. I don't know. I'm definitely brand loyal because it's just sometimes with certain things. But I think recently with like Whole Foods, I love their whole food organic pasta. It's not that expensive for a pound of like pasta.
Hmm.
I bought the bucatini recently. I love that. I bought the orchietti. Both came out great. I think they were brass pasta extruders, whatever it was.
Extruder, yeah.
So they have that like rough finish. It's not like super smooth, so the sauce clings to it.
Hmm.
So if you're in Whole Foods and you're looking for pasta, they're Whole Foods, and it's cheaper because it's organic and it's super cheap relative to other organic pasta, and the quality is great. I think that's one of my favorite generic brands. Even though Whole Foods is not really a generic brand in itself, but compared to like your Barillas, and don't get me wrong, I love Barilla, but that Whole Foods
Yeah.
generic brand is something I really like nowadays.
Mhm.
365 I trust a lot. That's another store brand for Whole Foods.
Yeah.
They do really good stuff there. Trying to think, what do I splurge on? I think olive oil is something I'll always splurge on. I'll always pay
Yeah.
a little extra to make sure it's good and the container's right too. I don't want to get it out of like a plastic clear
You,
bottle because they say it'll oxidize.
Yeah.
You know what? You know I've been buying olive oil lately just because it's kind of fun.
Mhm.
I've been going into like Home Goods because
Hmm.
they'll have all these
Oh,
random,
infused
more
stuff,
like
right?
these more like higher end random olive oils, and you
Mhm.
can it's usually you get a pretty good price on something. It's kind of
Yeah,
it's a
Yeah.
fun thing.
that's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like, I tried Graza recently. That's a really good olive oil. I
I see
like
that
it.
everywhere. Is it worth the?
It is. And I
Yeah.
got the finishing one.
Okay.
And so usually my olive oil, or my splurges, I'll buy like a big tin from like a Greek import like store, like a Greek grocery store,
Yeah.
and it's Greek olive oil. It's like top, I guess, three olive oil producers in the world, and it's this huge container. I'll just keep refilling the pour I have in the kitchen, and it costs like $60, and it's just like you taste the difference. If you get like
Yeah,
a EVOO store brand specifically, or anything that that's not really made in Spain or Turkey or Greece, you're
Yeah.
not getting like this super high quality. You can definitely taste it. But Graza's up there. I don't know where they make it. Actually, I never checked where the olives come from, but I
Mhm.
did the finishing oil, and it's one of the better olive oils I've had.
hmm.
Um,
That's
and I really enjoy it.
I missed
My
that.
son
One
loves
of my last the last wine company
it. Mm,
that I worked for,
mm,
one of our Italian wine producers also dealt with olive oil, and
that's cool.
like every year he'd give us the chance to buy some olive oil, and it was really good high end olive oil.
Mm,
It was a treat.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
Nice.
I remember we went to Ice. We went to like a First Friday. Chef Frank was presenting like a pasta, and it was an olive oil
I
importer. That was like
Yeah, I
one of.
remember that.
Were you there for that
Yeah,
too? You were there. My wife
absolutely.
won a Spanish olive oil, like a bottle of it. It was
I
so
remember
good.
that.
We only used it for like finishing. We only used it where like it was like an olive oil focused like dressing or finish like right on top of stuff, and it was so tasty. And it took us months to finish it, but like we really enjoyed it because we didn't want to just like waste it on vinaigrettes or something where it kind of gets lost, or definitely not cooking with it. But yeah, absolutely, a good olive oil makes a big difference for me. Um, so that I'll definitely spurge on that. Is there
Yeah.
anything
Last episode we were talking about fall flavors, and
Mm.
this surprisingly didn't come up, but I'll always splurge on the real maple syrup.
Oh,
Oh yeah,
Especially
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
in the
yeah,
fall.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with Aunt Jemima. I feel bad cutting her out of the family,
Yeah.
but like, oh, well, I didn't cut her out. Fucking whoever
Yeah.
produces it cut her out, unfortunately, or fortunately, actually, it was the right move. I apologize.
No.
I'm thinking, but that real stuff, and I didn't even knew about it until I started dating my wife, who's lived upstate for a while. Like, not
Yeah.
that I didn't know about it, but like, I never thought about it. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is good
No,
enough.
just never.
No, you need
Yeah,
pure
and
maple
then you
syrup in the
try it,
house.
and it's just so good. And actually, my father-in-law, his family has a sugar camp that produces maple syrup up in Canada, and we get it straight from them. So we get like a big
Oh,
bottle every year. We
Wow.
freeze it, and we have like a smaller bottle that we use every day. So it's
Nice.
so good. It's amazing. Yeah, real maple syrup is
ugh.
Yeah,
is
it's
the
worth
real.
the splurge.
Oh, it's
I'm
absolutely worth the splurge.
I'm lucky enough to be able to make my own maple syrup here at the farm.
Oh
Oh
man.
wow, that's
It's
awesome.
it's
You're tapping,
awesome.
you're tapping trees, and
Oh yeah.
that's awesome, man.
We have we have well over 100 maple trees
Mm-hmm.
Oh
on the
wow.
Mm-hmm.
farm, and we tap them and make our own syrup. It's one of my favorite seasons of the year.
Absolutely,
Just being outside and boiling down the syrup, and
that's cool.
it's the best.
Are you boiling it just over a fire? Like you have a cooker, or do you have an indoor cooker?
So I the first year we did it, I just used the turkey fryer
Oh, nice.
and boiled it down that way. But now
Yeah.
we do have
Oh, get out.
a proper setup. Yeah,
That's so cool, man. That's so cool. That's a legit deal. So do your kids go out and pick the pails up and bring them back? And
yeah,
that's so cool. That's
yeah.
awesome, man.
Last
That's
year it
so
was tough
sweet.
though because my issue is that I don't have a lot of place to store it.
Hmm.
And the first year we did it, there was still plenty of snow on the ground, so I was able to just fill 5-gallon buckets and stick them in the snow to
Okay.
keep
Yeah.
them cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
with the weather being so wonky,
Yeah. Hmm.
last year it was tough to keep because it will it will spoil and then it stinks.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
what I was gonna ask.
It
I didn't know.
smells so bad, so you got to keep it cool until
Yeah.
you have the time to
Cook it
boil it
down.
down. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
people that do it as a job or are really focused on it, like they boil down every day
Hmm.
almost. But me, I'm only able to really do it on the weekends, so like I have to kind of try to keep all this sap that I've collected throughout the week,
Yeah.
fresh,
Just gotta
till I
keep it
get to the
cold. Yeah.
weekend. And
I was going to ask a stupid question. Does sap go bad? But I guess it does.
yeah, it does, and
Wow.
it smells
Yeah.
terrible.
That's so funny. Something so sweet can go so bad.
Yeah.
I guess that's
Yeah.
usually the case.
Oh man, it's a fun process.
It is a fun process. You have a lot of fun stuff up at the camp there, man. It's seems like you're living the good life, one with nature.
I'm trying.
One with nature. And I'll say, I think last night, 2 nights ago, excuse me, I felt with nature, or with like these primitive like emotions are coming out of my body. I and this has nothing to do with what we were talking about, but I just feel like sharing it.
Let it out, brother.
I got a spit going, right? I got a spit that I usually use for lamb on Easter. We do whole lambs during Easter, and we put some like picana steaks. I put some like marinated pork on the other side, and it was just cooking over the coals, flaring up when the grease was hitting the coals. It was just something so primitive, but so like simple, but so flavorful. It's so rewarding afterwards. It felt so good. I got to share the photos of that too, because that was a spectacle in my eyes. I loved it. We were out late, we were out till like 1 in the backyard, but like we were cooking until like 10:30, and it was just such a fun cook. And it was nice. It was a nice event. But yeah, sorry, that primitive one with nature. I don't know why I felt like that connected with it, but it's just something I had to share. So, let's go back to the food court. Excuse me, People's Court theme song. The food court, and kind of give. Are we going to give a verdict today, Tim? Is that something?
So
Because right here, let's break it down again one more time. I'm sorry to cut you off. Your wife is here on trial, not defending herself, because this is not a fair court. This is a court of our opinion. This is it. No, this is our opinion only. Charged of buying generic ketchup that's not Heinz. Forget about generic.
I like to call it fogey ketchup.
Fogey ketchup. Let me ask,
fake.
would this, if it was Hunt's, would she be here right now? Would this be, or would you let off with a warning? Or would she be fully processed?
Hunt's, you get a warning.
Oh wow!
Don't do it.
Hunt's is acceptable. Okay.
Don't do that again.
Hunt's is like, you get pulled over. I know you from somewhere.
Yeah.
Just slow down a little bit. All right. Yeah.
Get the tail light fixed and mail the ticket, and you're good.
That's great. So Hunt's can get you that, but yeah, she committed a full, a felony at this point.
Absolutely.
A full foodie felony.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a tongue twister.
I'm gonna go first, and I'm gonna say guilty.
Guilty, man. Brian, you gotta go.
Oh man, what's the brand again?
It was a store brand.
It was store brand ketchup.
Whatever.
Ketchup.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go guilty.
Oh yeah, no, you guys are ruthless animals. This poor woman is trying to save a buck here, but no, she is guilty as charged, 100%. Heinz is the only acceptable ketchup.
Yeah.
Even if it was Hunt's, it's next trip, pick up a bottle of Heinz, just so we have both.
Oh, I already did. I went out and bought a bottle of Heinz ketchup. We had people over. We had people over to roast hot dogs over a fire. So I had to go out and buy the Heinz. I was like, you can't bring that Weiss ketchup out.
She was presenting Weiss to guests?
What are they gonna say?
Guests? What kind of host are you?
I was gonna be the talk of the town.
Oh my god. You'd be in the papers. You'd be in the blotters. They'd be talking about you. Oh my god, no way, dude. Does she know we have like a internationally listened to podcast?
Right.
Does she know we're big in Russia and Sweden?
No.
Yeah.
I go to work every day.
Yeah.
To buy Heinz ketchup.
Yeah, to provide Heinz for the family. I provide Heinz, and she's coming home with store brand. What's she doing with the rest of the money? Huh?
That's what I want to know. That's a good question.
Are you guys getting organic milk all of a sudden? What's going on
here? I think
this
is turning into an embezzlement case.
This is much bigger than we thought. That's so funny. So yes, unfortunately, your wife is guilty as charged, because it's not right. It's not right what she did.
It's not right.
Yeah. No,
it's too bad for her.
It is. She's a sweet person.
Yeah.
But no.
Lately, though, I found myself treating myself to something at the grocery store. I've been buying myself every time now, like a nice European butter.
Yeah,
like a nice higher end butter.
That's nice. Yeah. So is that something now you'll keep as like a staple in your fridge? Like you want that European butter?
Yeah, and I'm not cooking with it. It's for like putting on my English muffin, putting toast on my bagel.
The
Everyone
problem
else,
with that, the problem with that
everyone
for
else
me is
can use the
that
Land O'Lakes, but
Yeah.
when I buy the nice butter, it's like now I got to buy the nice bagels and the nice breads and everything else so I can put
Oh,
something on it.
so it avalanches into a bigger bill. Okay, you're like, well, if I'm
Yeah,
having
yeah.
nice
Because
butter,
then I'm like, oh, what else can I use this butter for? It's like
yeah.
I'm buying pretzel rolls now. It's like,
Oh
oh,
wow, that's
I
I
so
love
just
me a
good.
want
That
pretzel
something
sounds
roll.
extra.
great. Yeah, that sounds great. That's interesting. That's a great point. So you're buying something, and it's just like it's like a gateway purchase into like bigger
Yeah.
purchases. Oh, that's interesting. I never thought about that. Yeah, so we do like I forget what the brand's called. That Irish butter, the
Kerrygold.
popular one, Kerrygold. Yeah, so we'll do
There you
that.
go.
I'll do
Yeah.
like I'll have a tub of spreadable for like the toast and everything, and then I'll have a stick for like cooking me like finishing meals, like if you're basting a steak maybe. But then
Yeah.
I have the bowl and basket or the store bought butter in the freezer for when I'm baking. So I don't know if I don't know if you guys want to put me up to trial. I feel like that's not a big
Uh,
crime. I feel like that's pretty standard.
the
Everyone else is doing it.
the bowl and basket, which is the ShopRite store brand for
ShopRite, yes.
anybody
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
who who's wondering. Their organic butter is pretty good,
Oh, see,
and
I'm doing a good thing.
yeah, that's the house butter. But then
Oh yeah.
I have
Oh yeah. I get
my
that.
fancy butter on the side. Lately,
I
it's
love
been
it.
the brand called Truly, which is an Irish butter.
Uh,
Hmm.
Really, really good.
Really good. Okay, we're gonna try that too. Truly butter. Is there any staple that you guys keep in the house that's kind of unusual that you might either splurge on, or it could be something totally cheap you get from like a specific store? But is there like a staple that you guys just um something like you would open your fridge and be like, oh, why does he have that? Like, I mean, I want to say chili crisp might be something that I have on my fridge door that I've used on eggs, I've used in like sandwiches, soups. But I don't think it's unusual. I think chili crisp is pretty common nowadays. I think when I first got into it, it was
What is it now? Because I'll be honest, I'm not.
it's like chili crisp. It's like oil and a bunch of chilies. We made it in school once, I remember. So you like it's like
Oh,
oil and
okay,
crisp, and
yeah.
you can put it on anything you want, basically sandwiches,
yeah.
eggs, whatever you're brave enough to do it. I like to put it in my soups. If it's like a
Yeah.
brothy soup, obviously. And I thought that was unusual, maybe when I first started doing it a year ago too. But it's really, I think everyone has chili crisp now for the most part, knows what it
Yeah.
is. So
I
it's
think,
not that unusual.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's become more of a staple than
Two
it
things
was
for
a
me.
street. Mm-hmm.
Staple. I guess the first one's not really unusual, but my wife loves sour cream, so we always have sour cream in the
Oh,
fridge. Like,
same.
if we don't have sour cream, then like there's a problem.
Okay.
I got to go out and get
Then you're
sour
going to
cream.
the store and getting sour cream. Yeah,
But a few
same.
years ago, I discovered, and I don't even know if they sell it at the regular grocery stores, but I discovered it in like a restaurant depot. Sriracha seasoning, sriracha
Oh,
powder.
I've never
Oh,
seen
I've
that.
not
I've
seen
never
that.
seen that. Is it
Yeah,
from the
so I got like
sriracha
a
people?
big like food service
Huh.
bottle of
Oh
sriracha
wow.
powder, and I use it for everything. Like it's really it's like an extra spice. It adds a little bit of that sriracha flavor, but really it's like kind of a powdered vinegar almost. Like I love it. It's great.
Oh, that
Huh?
sounds great. That sounds
Yeah,
really good in the powder form.
yeah.
Is it sriracha brand?
I think it was
Is
McCormick,
it the
if I'm
Rooster
not
people?
mistaken.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I think it was a
Okay.
McCormick brand, but
I've never heard that before. I like the
yeah, it's
dry idea.
really
Now I
good.
kind of want to fry up
I'm
chips and sprinkle
curious.
that on some potato chips, on like some
It's
fresh
good on
potato
Oh,
everything,
chips.
man.
That
Like
sounds really good.
yeah,
But what you
I'm gonna
said,
have to look for
vinegary.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. I gotta check that out. That's really good. That's a new staple I need to actually add to the list here.
yeah.
No, that's definitely something I think that you can consider out of the norm.
Should probably order it
Um,
on Amazon or something.
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Are you guys big on like spices? I think like Spiceology is a big brand now. If you guys are familiar with it, it's the brand that kind of makes their spice labels look like elements from the periodical table. Excuse me. Like,
Periodic.
is it periodic table? Thank you. That's why college air quotes. So a periodic table. Thank you. I think that brand looks pretty cool. I haven't tried much yet,
I
but that
haven't
might be
tried. I've
something.
definitely heard of it.
That's something my friends recommended. They're big on smoke. Like he's big on smoking meat, and there's Traeger grill. He says the quality is much better than like your McCormick's or your store labels.
I'll have to check that out.
And he's like, it's worth the increase. I was wondering if you guys have done it because I'd want to try it, but
No, I haven't tried it.
you guys haven't tried it yet. Well, if anyone listening has tried it, let us know because I'm curious. Is it worth the extra few bucks? Because then I also just love the look, aesthetically how it would look in your like spice closet or spice cabinet or rack or whatever would be pretty cool. Yeah, man, no, that's yeah, like staples. I guess it's weird to say something unusual because then it becomes a staple because sour cream is something Bri like you guys always have in your fridge.
Yeah.
Something I never really had growing up, but like living with my wife and like actually cooking more and using it in almost everything. Not everything, but in a lot of things other than just to dip something in. It becomes a staple, right? So like,
Yeah.
and the same thing with the chili crisp. Like, oh, that was weird when I first bought it 2 years ago, but now I want it on everything.
Yeah.
Like even fancier like ramen noodle packets. Not just your dollar ramen, but the fancier ones with like the high end spices, and then maybe like a peanut sauce or something. That's like more normal too. Where growing up with it, I never had it in the house, or even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I probably never had it in the house either. Yeah, man. So shopping's fun. I do love going to the grocery store and checking out labels and checking out new things and seeing how things would match up.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tim. So I cut you off?
No, not at all.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So listen, food court is, I think, a great idea. I think we need people to chime in with any differences or discussions or arguments they're having with loved ones, friends, people you cook with, if you have a group that you guys cook with. If there's something you guys can't settle, there's three of us. We are the supreme court of food, I think. We're the final say. And we've been appointed by ourselves.
The final boss?
We're the final boss. Unbeatable, though. This isn't Nintendo. This isn't Mario Brothers.
Well,
Since
there's three of us, you'll always get a proper verdict.
This is true.
There's going to be no hung jury.
Yeah, but I feel like, you know what? Now if we're going to judges, like 3 judges, I think boxing's been rigged a couple of times. So, if you guys want to ask us a question and Venmo us, we can talk about that on the side. No, I'm joking. We will always be fair. We will always be unbiased and give you our opinion. But yeah, absolutely. Shoot us your questions. 3guyswics@gmail.com. That's 3guyswics @gmail.com. It's the number 3, excuse me. And that's all our handles too. Instagram, you want to slide into the DM, you don't want to post a question publicly, go ahead. You want to email us, comment on our podcast, YouTube, feel free to reach out. We want to hear your arguments and we want to help you settle them. Whether you're right or wrong, we'll let you know. All right, guys, I think that was a fun little episode. Food court's going to be a fun segment. Oh, you know what? I think I'm guilty of something and I have to apologize. We are about a week or so late on the recipe of the month. If you guys remember, I mentioned a little truffle mac and cheese. Tim hates truffles. To add that to the list of Tim's dislikes.
Unless they're chocolate truffles. Then
unless they're chocolate truffles, that's right. Good dive. Add that to the list. And I'm still forcing him to make a truffle mac and cheese, but I have some technical difficulties and don't know how to forward my podcast mates the recipe. So that's on me. I apologize. Kind of left that on the side burner. But we will be back next week with our takes on truffle mac and cheese. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be delicious. It's going to be decadent. Tim is, I'm sure, going to say, I love truffles now.
I'm going to do the truffle shuffle.
He's going to do, if he likes it, he'll do the truffle shuffle. If he likes it. Okay, that's great. That's fantastic. And then we'll also discuss, I guess, our next recipe for recipe of the month and go from there. But again, thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, Brian, quick question.
Oh.
Yep.
Why'd the bicycle fall over?
Why'd the bicycle fall over? No idea.
It was too tired.
But